Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. We live for you. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Worthy of every song. Worthy of every song we could ever sing. Worthy of all the praise we could ever bring. Yes, you are. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. We live for you. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Oh, we live for you. Worthy. Worthy of every song we could ever sing. Worthy of all the praise we could ever bring. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. We live for you. Other name. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Oh, we live for you. Holy, holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in
and welcome to the 6 p.m. Tonight we are going to be continuing our life hack series, and we are going to be discussing friendships and talking about some tips and tricks on how to cultivate awesome and godly friendships. So we have Matthew with us tonight and Sunny and Zimmy. So thank you guys so much for being here. Are you guys excited?
Yes, and thank you for having us.
Thank
you. Yeah.
So we are facing this like really hectic pandemic, COVID-19, but our generation is also actually facing a loneliness pandemic. And a lot of young adults actually feel like they don't even have one close friend who they can really count on, who's actually there for them and they really need them. And that's not actually how God created us, right? He created us to be a part of community, to be a part of community of friends and believers. In Ecclesiastes, it says that if two are better than one, and if one of them falls, they have someone to pick them up, that we should pity someone who has no one to pick them up when they fall. And that's like sounds so sad, right? Like you fall and there's no one to pick you up. So friends are really important, and godly friends are just so amazing to have. And so Sunny, could you just maybe like expand on why are friends good? Like, what's the benefits of having friends?
Thanks, Jess. I think that's a great question, actually. It's one of the things that are very close to my heart. And I think off the top of my head, I can immediately say friends are not only friends to us as people, but they're also friends of our destinies. So it's like your friends are meant to align with the life you lead and propel you to where God's calling you to. And I think there's so many beautiful scriptures about friendship and also beautiful quotes. Like C.S. Lewis has two wonderful quotes I love, and I could be wrong, but if I am, you can go find it. So you're right that friends, or people rather, are one of the holiest gifts that God's ever given us. So we ought to treat them well. And another one, specifically on friendship, I love is, he says, friendship is unnecessary, like philosophy, like art, like the universe, because it wasn't necessary for God to create them. And we don't need them for survival, but they do add value to survival. You know, it's like we could lead life in isolation, but it's not advised by the Bible. There's scripture that says an isolated man seeks his own desire and rejects the counsel of the wise. So it's like not only are friends fun and great to lead life with, but they are wise counsel. They keep us on the right tracks, especially when it comes to godly friends, you know? So I think that's how I feel about it. They propel you, they're there for you also. People.
When the fingers up, then you know.
Something that I also think, especially as young adults, we need to get right is being friends through all of the seasons. Be sensitive to seasons. Like, you guys are married. I need to be sensitive to the responsibilities on your plate now. To my friends that are new parents, can I send dinner? Can I pick up your laundry to take the load off of your plate?
Sure.
You know, be intentional and be sensitive to seasons, and don't let scarier and tougher seasons scare you away. You know? That's the true test of friendship. It's all over scripture. Real friends aren't fair weather friends.
That's so good, Sunny. And I think like sometimes you're going to be going through busy seasons in your life, and then you need your friends to show up for you, and sometimes they're going to be going through busy seasons, and just like being there through the seasons is so good. And I mean, like Zimmy, all those benefits are amazing, but some people, like, they don't have friends, and like, how do you make friends? It sounds so simple, right? Like, it sounds like something a 5-year-old's asking his mom, like, Mom, how do I make friends? Like, how do you make good friends, like true friends that are actually going to be there for you in those tough times?
Sure. Thanks, Jess. That's actually a good question. I think one of the most important things about finding friends or making friends is knowing who you are. You know, having a sense of identity, and also knowing what your purpose is, or having a sense of what your purpose is, because and also having some sort of involvement or engagement with your purpose, because that's more or less where you will find those people who are doing similar things or things in a similar way to you. So yeah, when you know who you are, have a sense of what you're doing and where you want to go, it'll be easier for you to identify people with, you know, that sort of like mindset. Because you want, as Sandy said, you want to partner with people who are going toward the same goal. You know, you don't want to, as knowing where you're going, you know, relate to people who are going a different direction because it's going to distract you. I think, and also when you like a simple way of, if I can just say, practical things that you can, like places that you can go. For example, if you're a Christian, church, you know,
Good start.
you're in church, you know, you greet people, you smile at people, and then you start, you know, having conversations with people, and then you identify what these people are all about, and then that's how you, like, conversations start from there, and they grow, and then you build godly friendships. So I think,
Can I jump in there to add? I love what Zimi was saying, and I think it goes back to like intentionality. I think people expect to come into a church and just randomly expect people to just gravitate towards them. Again, like scripture does say, a man of many friends must be friendly himself. Like, what are you carrying as well? Like, are you radiant? Are you carrying joy? Are you cheerful? Like, are you enthusiastic? Are you approachable people? You know? And I think like you have to be intentional. And as much as you want friends, and earnestly so, you need to be brave and be like, and make it known that I actually do want to be your friend. Can we go grab a coffee or take a walk on the beach? Those are the ways that friendships can form, intentionality and bravery. And making space around your own table. I think people get so discouraged when they aren't included. But I think that's such an incredible challenge to be like, you know what? There's no space for me there, but I'll create my own table. And then, like Jesus said, come as you are, you know? So
good. And I think you definitely need to take that step of bravery. I think especially in church, it can be so overwhelming. There's so many people who I speak to, and to just like get the courage to just go up to someone and be like, hi, like I'm Jessie, you know, what do you do? And I've honestly had so many friendships formed that way. It's just like a random person who I go up to and like, hey. So you don't know me. You don't know me, but hey, you look friendly.
Wow. Okay.
That's so good. And I think once you form the friendship, good friendships don't really last unless you're a good friend yourself, right? It's always a two-way street. You can't expect your friend to be there for you, and then whenever they need something, you're like, oh, sorry, you know, getting my nails done, busy with life. So, Matt, can you just like touch on how do you be a good friend?
Yeah, no, that's a very hard question. But I mean, I think about like what Simi and Sunny has said. I mean, like with Sunny being like, you have to be able to weather each storm, and like Simi being, you have to be like that approachable person, as well as like go out there and be brave and take the step, you know? Like there's so much of that comes from your own character. So like I think being a good friend is understanding that your character is not going to diminish or hurt the person in front of you. It's going to shape the person that you're going towards. Like you're going somewhere, directed somewhere. When I think about, I can't remember now, this is so bad, but it's like, you're going to be the rock of my church. I think it was, help me here, Sunny.
I don't know.
I went blank. I think it was not John the Baptist.
Peter.
Yes, you're going to be the rock of my
Yeah.
But before it came to that point, it was like, feed my sheep. Like that was like the most uncomfortable moment. But like you see in Christianity now, in being a good Christian or good friend now, people are expecting the other person to be giving all the time. I think about like, I watch TV a lot in my own life. But when I think about good friends, I'm like, friends that are willing to buy me pizza. Friends that are willing to take me out. Friends that are willing to look after my needs the whole time. But that's just like, I sound selfish, but that's just the way I am as a friend. Like I feel like sometimes when you're giving to people, you're adding to that, like I'm a good friend and I can help you. But I can also like, I'm a good friend and we can walk through situations together.
Yeah.
Like I'm more of the person that like, I won't necessarily spend money just because I don't always have tons of it to give away. But if I had, I would give.
Yeah.
That's just my character. That's just the way I am. So my wife looks after my money very, very, very closely because
Good wife.
being a good friend to me is being like, take what I have. That's just me. Like it's different for many people. Some people put up walls that make it that you have to climb over these walls, and then they put challenges. Like we don't even know that we're doing it, but when we're trying to make friends or when friends are trying to become friends to us, then we've got these challenges that we've put in place without even thinking about it. Like for me, it's like if you can remember my name the second time,
We're good.
we're friends for life. But like other people, it's like when for example, I remember one of the first young adults evenings we had at church. Taylor Boscombe, she's here somewhere. She comes in there. She wanted the first time coming to a young adults event, and it was the funniest thing. I see her coming in. I'm like, she's like, hey, and I'm like, hey, I don't even know who you are, but we just went. We just carried on. We didn't know each other's names. Didn't ask each other's names. It was just hey, and it was just like energy met energy, and it was like boom. And then we played Uno. It was great. And I mean, the second time I saw her, then I only realized, okay, her name is Taylor, my name is Matthew. Just all relaxed, because like I've got lots and lots of energy, and I always have it. So like it's very uncomfortable for me when I meet someone, and they come at me with like low energy. Then I'm like, okay, like Labrador, like we need to play some games. Let's throw the ball around. Let's do some stuff. Let's go.
Wow.
But I mean, that's exactly like what it's like to be making friends nowadays. Like you have to realize that there's still challenges in our lives that we all have to deal with. But like making or being a good friend, just consistently, like Sunny said, like you able to weather the storm, be the rock in that situation, that doesn't have to move to cater for the waves. It's just I'm comfortable where I am.
Yeah, great.
And people can stand on whatever I'm doing in my life. So it's being okay with who you are, number one, and being okay to weather everybody else's storm that comes into your path. And when someone that you don't necessarily connect with or you don't work well with, it's going to chip your rock a little bit. It's going to hurt you, but you're going to walk out of it. Sea's going to roll over it. God's going to be there, and everything's going to be fine.
Like just being a good friend, like what God's one of like the main commandments is just love others and treat others as you want to be treated, you know. And I think if we do that, it's actually like so easy to be a good friend.
Yeah.
But Sunny, something that like young adults sometimes struggle with is time management. And we're like, okay, how do we balance studies, work, family, friends,
Just the
all
right
those
person.
things?
The right.
And you do it so well. Like you manage to always make time for like a multitude of friends and balance work and writing and all of those things. So like, how do you do it? What are some practical tips for us?
That's a great question. But I will start off by saying, I do believe people make time for the things that matter most to them. Friendship matters a lot to me because I know that I can't and don't want to do life alone. And I don't enjoy being taken for granted, and I don't think people should be taken for granted. So it matters to me, so I'll prioritize time with them. I mean, you can look at the things that matter to you in your life. You make time for them. And know that you have the same, all our heroes, all these people we look up to, they have the same 24 hours in the day that we have. Everyone's like, they have assistants and they have this. And everyone's helping them with everything. They didn't always live like that. They were here at some stage, you know? So I definitely think prioritize it if it matters to you. Don't take people for granted. I think it's easy to think they're always going to be there so you can half-heartedly be a friend. I don't think that's cool. You want to give it your all. You want to invest in it just like you invest in your work, and you want to do it excellently. I mean, we say everything that honors God is like worship. You know, if our friendships resemble how Jesus loved his friends to an extent, it should be regarded as worship and honoring and glorifying God, treating people like they are a gift from God.
That's good.
I know it sounds so hectic, but that's so true. That's literally how I see it, and I still feel like I wish I had more friends. I was like, okay, let me have enough. Give me more. Length on the table. Add more length. Add more
Someone's
chairs.
called you PE's best friend before.
That's correct.
I don't know who called me that. Anyway, back to what you were saying, Jess. Like, I really think if it matters to you, you'll make time for it. And that's that. With everything else in life, you'll do it excellently. Like, you try to do everything else excellently. And have boundaries. You don't have to, something I had to learn because I work long days and I serve the church wholeheartedly. I love it, you know, my soul comes alive. But have boundaries. Like, you don't have to have coffee with everyone every week or every month, you know. And the stronger the friendship gets, you probably don't need to have coffees that much, like as often. So, just take it easy on yourself and make sure you manage your expectations. People aren't Jesus, they are people. And if you have unhealthy voids, take them to God. Don't make them your friends' burdens, because then you become unpleasant to be friends with. And you don't want that either. So a healthy relationship with Jesus does help with like the more horizontal friend-to-friend relationship. So that's my
But I think
advice.
something you're also really good at is actually like scheduling things in.
That is
So you don't just like, oh, okay, maybe, you know, I'll bump into them and then we'll have a coffee. You're very intentional about it, like you said
Yeah.
earlier, and like you'll book stuff a week in advance
Yeah.
to make sure that you actually have put that in your diary so
Yeah.
nothing else can take that hour. It's booked
Yeah.
in for your friend.
Yeah.
And I think that's such an important skill to learn. If it's important to you, like schedule it in your diary, you know?
Protect that time with them because they matter. I think there's nothing better than knowing in a relationship that you matter.
Yeah.
And you belong.
Yeah.
And I want you here.
Yeah.
I want you in
Yeah,
my
it's
life.
true.
I'm not obligated to befriend you because we serve together. I actually want to know you and I want to know your story and I want to do life with you. People are such an adventure. There's constantly stuff to discover and laugh about, and sometimes when things are hard, cry about. And as iron sharpens iron, you know.
Yeah.
So the man sharpens the countenance of his friends.
Yeah.
Those little moments cultivate that
Yeah.
scripture.
Carrying on with that conversation, I mean, about how do you decide who you let into your heart, is sometimes like we have friends, we end up with friends and they aren't great friends. And like when they call us and WhatsApp us, we're like, hey, how long can I wait until I reply? Like, I'm not keen for a coffee date. Like, and you sometimes get like in those friendships, and I think sometimes as Christians, like you feel so obligated to carry on that friendship, like to continue letting them into your heart. And how do you actually like put up boundaries? How do you say, you know what, like I still love you and I care for you, but you aren't good for me?
Sure.
How do you do it?
I'm glad this is your question.
I'm also like all the people who've fasted me this year, like Sunny, you're out.
Sure, I think what I spoke about in the beginning about knowing who you are really helps with this, because when you know who you are, you get to identify the kind of environment that you want to grow in. So if you look at when you're planting something, you want to clear the soil so you can put the seed and then allow the seed to grow healthily.
Great.
So when you identify like toxic, situations happening around you, I think you need to be in love with your destiny and your purpose so much that you are able to say, hey, like it's not, I'm not saying that you're wrong, but like the situations that we get around, or the conversations and the time that I spend with you or this group of people is not really helpful to this goal that I want to achieve.
Yes.
Or it's not really helping this, going back to the example of planting something. Maybe it's like too much sun or too much watering, so we need to protect it. So when you know who you are and where you're going, you need to be bold enough to protect yourself,
That's so good.
because you want to grow and actually achieve things in life.
Sure.
So good.
So, I mean, if that person's your friend, who doesn't want their friend to grow?
Yeah.
So if you mad at me for saying no about things that are helpful to me, then what's the point of us?
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Yeah, so good.
Wow.
Doing that.
That was amazing, guys.
Yo.
So we have a bit of like a bonus question tonight.
Okay.
So
So, drink my water.
it's
Really?
something that I know quite a few young adults like wonder about and have thought about before. So Matt, this one's for you. So take a sip of water.
I'm ready.
So Matt, how vulnerable and intimate should we be with friends of the opposite gender?
Oh, here we go.
So you can talk about it in like, if you're single, if you're in a relationship, just go for it.
Okay. Sure. Okay. I hope this is recorded. I'm not going to say.
That was me choking.
But no, I think it's a really, really good question, and it's pertinent, I think, for our day and age, and I think our young adults now, it's so easy to get entanglement.
Oh, you went
happens.
there. You
But like,
went
it
there.
happens, and it's like we can't look at it as, oh, it just happened, like a whoopsie, clipsied off. What it's, as Christians, I guess it's not how we live.
Yeah.
Like we just hold ourselves to a higher standard.
Yeah.
The world looks at that and says like that's what's the word? It's stealing from my joy. It's stealing from who I am. It's stealing from what I'm
Yeah.
going to be. And like I can look at my life and say like I haven't been perfect, but I've tried to hold myself to a higher standard all the
Great,
time.
Maddie.
I mean, being Christian is great, and it's a great thing to put onto your CV. It's a great thing to tell people, but like it's where you want to go with this is very important. I think your
Yeah.
intentionality is
Yeah.
key and important for what's happening around you. So, for example, when I started at Father's House, I was single, happy. My parents had just moved to Joburg. I had just moved into a little flat with my brother who got engaged, and Amanda is incredible, and it was great. But I was like, flip, I'm lonely being single in my house. And then I was still studying, and I had a friend who was studying education at the time, and I was studying my BA. It was great, it was awesome, but like it was just like that yo-yo relationship friendship, you know, like where you feel like, oh, we could be an item, and then she's like, no, and then you think like all of a sudden like, oh, we're back to like having coffee and we're talking and it's great, and then boom, shunt, like no more.
Yeah.
And then I was like, eventually came to the point where I was just like, either this is going to determine my whole life and I'm going to be yo-yo through this whole thing, or I'm going to have to make a hard decision to say, sorry, like I was saying earlier, like you were a glass of water, now you become like this other thing that I'm uncomfortable with, because I'm not only trying to hold myself to the better, what's the word I used? Like the better standard. But like whatever you're doing is pulling me away from the standard I'm trying to hold.
Wow.
And you have to get to the point in that in your like normal life to like say, I will do this and I won't do that.
Yeah, great.
So for me, like being when you go into a relationship, when you start dating somebody, it's very important to have that open, like they say, communication is key. Communication is key the whole time. And then like there's so many memes about like women being like so weird about that. Like, I'm fine.
I think we're excellent.
Great. Yeah. Sunny is excellent. Sunny is excellent. But when it gets to like people who aren't necessarily holding the same standard you are holding, and you have to like walk through this road with them, and then it's like, but now I'm holding myself to a better standard. But me and my partner, my relationship with my hopefully future wife or hopefully future husband, we hold ourselves to this better standard, and we want to do this honoring and together. So we communicate our situations. For example, I'm friends with, let's call her Sandy, and me and Lana, let's go back a few years. I'm not married, just dating Lana.
Yeah.
Not engaged. Me and Lana are together. I'm talking to her most of the time, spending most of my energy and time and passion there. And then on comes Sandy, and she wants, like, firstly, just because I work at a church, firstly wants pastoral care. Just wants to talk to someone. I'm like, great, this is cool. And I'm like, I need to flex my pastoral muscle in my life and trying to make sure, like, is this something I want to do?
Yeah.
Is this something I feel like I want to like move into, especially at that stage in my life where I go back a few years. And then Sandy's like, let's so I'm like, cool, let's go. And then I bring a friend with me to just make sure that this is a great honoring situation.
Yeah.
For example, me and Sunny go for coffee with Sandy.
Yeah.
And it's great. And then me and Sunny, we talk about this thing, and we're talking to Sandy, and it's awesome. And she gets a lot off her chest, and then I get her and Sunny connected, and then I pull out. I'm like, I'm
Love
good now.
that.
I don't have to be that friend.
Love that.
But then Sandy pursues talking to Matthew. Okay, now this is
Sandy
when
knows what she wants.
Lana gets involved and says, Matthew, what's happening with Sandy now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll be
great.
like, Lana, nothing's happening with Sandy. She just keeps messaging me. I keep telling her to go to Sunny, but I'm communicating that.
Yeah.
Because that's how quickly, from that situation, she could be like, oh, Lana messaged me and told me all these ugly things.
Oh.
And then you can get really, really, really tangled up really quickly. But like, so when it comes to like opposite sex situations and you're in a relationship, I think it's best to say, would you mind coming with me?
I think that's amazing.
I
Yeah.
think also like just always guarding your heart.
Yeah,
especially
great.
Yeah.
if you're single, like guarding your heart.
True.
Where are we going with this?
Yeah.
You know? I think it's really unhealthy, like this yo-yoing, like
Yeah.
what's going on, no
Yeah,
one
that's
knows.
true.
So I think that's where you need to keep that intimacy and vulnerability, like for someone you're dating and someone you can see marrying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But guys, the panel's
love
been
that.
amazing. I've loved it.
Thank you. That's so much
I
fun.
believe it's over right now.
I know.
we used to
We
start
could speak
chapter
for
1.
hours.
Yeah.
But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the service. See you here next week. Bye.
for you.